These are the 5 most common reasons why an avoidant ex suddenly reaches out and what it actually means. The first is that it's not always about rekindling and has more to do about relief seeking. And what this essentially is that avoidants fear intimacy, but they also feel abandonment. So reaching out is often a way for them to kind of self-soothe themselves, but not really trying to reconnect. They don't want the relationship back, but they want to feel better about how it ended. And this is something that can be so complex to you because on the surface, it seems like they actually want to be in the relationship with you and try to maybe work things out. But whenever you try to take the conversation a little bit more towards that area, they will immediately push away or act different or just completely go ghost on you. And what that type of reaching out to you may look like is that they might send you a random text like, I hope you're doing well, or they might like your story or an old post, or maybe they'll send you a meme or an old inside joke that the both of you shared. And this is their indirect way of trying to get you to create that sense of relief for them so that they can kind of make themselves feel good about how things ended. And it's important to understand that typically in this setting, they're not asking to try to come back, but they're testing to see how the emotional waters are with you. And this is something that you really need to be aware of if this is the case and kind of question yourself, because it could be so tempting to fall for this and believe that this person is actually trying to work things out with you. But in actuality, it's more of a selfish thing in the sense that they're just trying to make themselves feel better. The second reason is that they're feeling a loss of control. When we look at avoidance, they tend to feel safe when they have control. And this applies to having control with them still being distant, which I know can be probably kind of confusing because why would somebody give distance and still want to try to maintain that control? But this essentially is where they want to try to continue to gain that, because even though they're the ones that pulled away from you, there still tends to be a part of them that actually want to be in a relationship with you. But of course, because of this avoidant attachment style, it's not allowing them to essentially stay committed into the relationship and show up the way that we all know they can if they didn't have this attachment style. So your silence or your detachment triggers their discomfort because they're not used to this. And up until this point, they felt that they really had control over everything and how things were going, which of course is a facade. But due to your consistent silence, they are forced to realize that they don't have control, which has always been the case, but they will try to regain that in any way that they possibly can, and is why they will try to reach out to you to see if they can kind of check to see if you are still emotionally available to them, because that's essentially where they gain that power back, where they can feel comfortable in continuing to stay distant, knowing that you are readily available for whenever they feel like it's time for them to come back, which is not fair to you, but to them, this is essentially how they want things to be, where they can detach and kind of work on whatever's going on, but in actuality, they're just avoiding working on that. And when they finally get to the realization that they want to be in the relationship with you and that avoidant attachment style calms down, that's when they want to try to reach out to you to get back together. So this tends to be very common as to why they are reaching out to you. Number 3 is that regret or nostalgia starts to kick in, but vulnerability still scares them. Avoidants essentially reflect late. We all kind of know this at this point. So when they reach out, they may genuinely be missing you, but they lack the tools for real emotional repair because they haven't had that model to them. Because we know when it comes to an avoidant, their caregiver typically did not meet their emotional needs. So because of that, they haven't had a real representation of having those tools on how to emotionally repair this relationship. So essentially what's going on is that they're reaching out to you because they feel the absence, not because they've done the work to actually rebuild that connection. And this is something that you have to kind of really remind yourself, because again, it's going to be so very convincing. They have a really good way at trying to make it seem that way. But again, this is a play for them to kind of make themselves feel better due to the fact that they no longer have that connection to you anymore. So of course they're trying to recreate that by reaching reaching out to you here. So with this particular reason as to why they are suddenly reaching out to you, it's important for you to not confuse them missing you with them being ready for you, because they're missing the nostalgic of the relationship, not actually you and what you bring to the relationship, and actually try to work on things with you because they genuinely want to heal from their avoidant attachment styles so they can show up fully in the relationship. Number 4 is that something triggered them emotionally. This could be things like seeing you move on, or a major life change or loss, or a moment of loneliness or emotional flashback that they're having. These tend to be these real big life changes or conflicts that cause them to want to revert to you and trying to gain that comfort that you gave them emotionally. Essentially, their brain associates emotional safety with you. So because of this, they will tend to reach out for the person who made them feel seen and heard and understood, and can kind of handle this situation, which has always been you up until this point, because you've done an amazing job with this, right? You've helped them to really feel secure and really feel like you are supporting them in so many different ways, but yet they still pulled away, which can be so confusing and made you believe that there was more that you're missing. But in actuality, this was always going to happen no matter how perfect you were for them, because they have something that is causing them to trigger this avoidant attachment style that they have to work on with a professional like a therapist. Because of this, whether they realize it or not, they're trying to just gain that sense of feeling secure in this moment, or having some type of relief, or just having some emotional comfortability with you. So because of this type of contact is often about them and not you. It's a way for them to use you to self-regulate without having to do that on their own, which they have a very hard time doing. And the 5th and final reason is that they want reassurance without commitment. This tends to be one of the biggest avoidance dilemma, where they miss closeness but they fear emotional accountability. They want to know that you are still emotionally there without having to offer anything in return, which is so hard to deal with, because you of course are showing up in so many ways because you genuinely want to be there, and you want to have them feel loved and heard and understood and cared for. And yet in these moments where they're reaching out and it feels like maybe they've done what is necessary to kind of heal from this avoidant attachment style and are ready to move on and show up in the relationship and deal with conflict so that you guys can have a lasting relationship that is something that you both will enjoy, they're just kind of really being selfish in this moment, and they're making it about them and just having them feel the way that they want to feel, yet they're not taking into consideration how this is affecting you. And this is where you really have to start to look at things and have a wake-up call and understand that this person may not ever get to that place where they're able to do the hard thing, and that is to seek help into trying to heal from this avoidant attachment style. And although it may be hard for you to accept this, it is so important for you to realize this, because you can go for so long going through the same cycle over and over again, trying to get this person to see the potential of what they could be in this relationship in hopes that they will actually do it so that you can just move on and have a happy ever after together. But this is not what's going to tend to happen, because it's going to take a lot of effort and energy and commitment on their part to actually work through this, and they have to be ready to do that. It's plain and simple. There's nothing that you can do to force them into doing that. This has to be on their own, and this tends to be a really big and hard thing for a lot of people who are going through a relationship with this type of avoidant, because you don't want to give up on them. You want to try to do everything that you possibly can to work things out and keep it going, but at the end of the day, you need to realize that, and that is you did everything that you possibly could, and they, for whatever reason, have not gotten to that point where they are actually fed up with this attachment style and are doing the things necessary to just start to heal from this. So no matter which one of these reasons resonate for your particular situation, I urge you to really sit with yourself and genuinely ask yourself, what is the best move for you to make in this moment? And whatever that answer is, no matter how scary or challenging or difficult it might be, it's important for you to prioritize it, because you are the only person in this world that knows what's best for you. And it's time to put that same energy and love and commitment that you were putting into that avoidant who wasn't yet ready to receive it back to yourself, so that you can heal and rediscover yourself again. And when the time is right, find somebody who will genuinely want to be in a relationship with you and not make it seem like you have to jump through so many different hoops and obstacles just for them to see the value of you in the relationship. I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.